Dear people of Amazonia, fellow brave warriors of our liberation movement, accept greetings from me, Comrade John Akuru. Today is Monday, and today is the 14th of April, 2025. My dear people, I'm delighted to be back in the studio, and I'm glad that we are about to have another very intense session. Today's communication is very important, very relevant with respect to the times, and I'm urging all of you who are connecting to this platform right now to make sure you share the link and share as much as possible. We need to reach as many Southern Cameroonians as possible, because there are a lot of things happening around us right now. I mean, a lot of things happening around us right now. And it is important for us to be in the loop. Important for each and every one of us to know, because this is very determining with respect to our commitment to the fight that we are involved in, the freedom of our homeland. My dear people of Amazonia, I want to extend hearty salutes to all those who continue to heed my call, to contribute to fuel this liberation movement so we can set our country free. Because like I said in my last broadcast, we need homeland today more than ever before. Like seriously, because all over the world today, people are developing serious nationalism. People are looking inward, and people are becoming very jealous of their citizenship. The more reason why, as Amazonians, we need to fight to take back our homeland, because that is where we belong. Make no mistake, we have a very fair chance to succeed in getting our homeland back the fastest possible. All we need is all hands on deck. I've said this before, and I'm repeating it. So I want to extend hearty salutes to all those all over the world who have remained committed to this liberation movement. We will continue to walk the talk, and we will continue to fight. You have those who don't like this liberation movement, who pretended to be with us, but who have turned full circle against us. They are peddling all kinds of stories out there to try and discourage us collectively from contributing to keep this liberation movement alive until we attain our dream. I saw a video of someone talking about another one, specifically Comrade Chiwayaba, owning a luxurious $600,000 home out there in Norway when it's not working. You know, when I looked at that story, when I listened to it, I said this was absolutely laughable. And the conclusion was like, you see, this is how they call people to contribute money, and when they contribute this money, people use it for their ends. If you are in the United States of America, you are watching me, you simply know that there are people here who are living in mansions of over $1 million, but their personal stake in those mansions, or their personal stakes in those mansions, may not be up to $100,000. This is for a fact, because when you're able to manage your down payment, home for about $1 million, oh, with 100,000 or even less, you are able to purchase this home through the bank. So out there, you own the house, like it is said. But you and I know that you are a tenant in that house, and if you have to own it, you have at least 30 years to pay and own it if you keep the pace. If you have the means, perhaps, to pay faster, you can do that. But if I have to judge you from the nominal value, oh, this man is very rich, he owns a house worth $1 million, that's misleading. I guess those who have gone to school, who listen to this from illiterates, will know that these are simply illiterates. They absolutely don't know what they are saying. I'm not here to defend anything because I don't know much about the specific situation, but I'm talking about what I know and about what the general principle is. So you see, they pompously put there 600 million, that's 300 and something thousand, a million CFA and all of this. Air, absolute air. We have to remain focused. My dear people of Amazonia, let us begin our show. And I'd like us to start with this thought, which is very important. A lot of us have gone to school. We're expected to help our people. That is why Noam Chomsky says the role of intellectuals is to challenge authority, not to serve it. The role of intellectuals is to challenge authority, not to serve it. We have a lot of intellectuals in our midst, too many of them, but who unfortunately are rather singing the praises of an authoritarian system that has for over 60 years and counting destroyed the fabric of our nation. My dear people of Amazonia, we have to use our brains. We have to see clearly those who continue to stand for what we believe in and serve them away from those who understand exactly what we need to do to attain our objective. You have a lot of false prophets involved in this whole thing right now. Those from La Republic du Cameroon, those who are within our midst, who are telling you we have to join with this, we have to go with that because this is the way we will. No, so much talk. In this communication today, you will see exactly how the French have gone back to their drawing, to their playbooks, right back to their playbooks, and they are going to hatch out something that did not start today, but they are certain that we will see it as novel, we will see it as new. That is what we are going to be talking about in this broadcast today. But before we get there, we'll make a little stopover in La Republic du Cameroon. I have said so many times that a lot of those who are leading kidnapping for ransom rings in Amazonia are soldiers of La Republic du Cameroon. I've said so many times that a lot of those who are breaking into banks, breaking into businesses, and stealing outrightly are soldiers of La Republic du Cameroon. Gendarmes, police, all of them put together. Sometimes people have had to doubt. But look at this. How about this? You look at this document. It's detailing the activities of a gendarme officer of La République du Cameroon who was hired and charged with escorting money from Yaoundé to Betua or to somewhere, to some locality in the east region of La République du Cameroon. 700 million. On the way, they had the bright idea to disappear this money. Although, unfortunately, he was caught very fast, but this is what a lot of them are doing. When they are caught like this, they just make a little noise about it and let it go, because that is what they are specialized in doing. I talked before about a captain of the B who was caught in the noon, leading all those charges. They've caught a couple of them, quite a number of them actually, in Amazonia, in Kumba, in Bamenda. But they downplay the whole thing and they come around and try to listen, folks. These invaders come with all forms of evil intentions in our land. That is who they are. They will never be different. They will never be different. That is who they are. That is how they are trained to be. And in our land, it's even worse because we are under occupation. And when you are under occupation, those who come in there carrying sticks or carrying arms are licensed to do whatever they can. They will never be called to book. This is why we have to fight and fight very hard. Some are thinking that we have been in a state of occupation only from 2017. No. We have been in a state of occupation all the way from 1962. It started in 1961, got intensified in 1962, and it kept going progressively until where we are today. Because if you look at it, a good lot of the time, at least 90% of their administrators in our land were citizens of the Republic du Cameroon. Scarcely did we have our own citizens manning those top offices to take care of our development needs. That is why the official language of the military of the Republic du Cameroon is French, despite all the noise about bilingualism. And we all know that. And that is why sometimes you meet with your brother, you recognize him. He's wearing the uniform of the gendarmerie or police of the Republic du Cameroon. You know him to come from the same community like you. He recognizes but speaks to you in French. Because if he speaks to you in the language that you and him understand and you know he speaks, he's afraid he will not be able to extort from you. These are ills we're fighting against. These are things we really have to do all we can to get out of our land and restore the soul of our land. Look at what is happening. All over Africa today, all you have are ancients of days. Ancients of days. And in all of those places, there is nothing you can point to as any serious development happening. In La République du Cameroon, their own ancient of days is 92 going 93. They are getting ready to give him 7 more years. So by the time he finishes that mandate, he will be 100 years old. That is a young man who is expected to impulse development. You look at Burkina Faso, I talked about in my last broadcast. Look at the young Traoré. See what he is doing. Look at Senegal. Look at the young president in Senegal. See what he is doing. And you go to Tanzania. Look at the lady who is there. She might not be too young, but she is not also old. She's in the middle. See also what she is doing. She's continuing the wonderful works that the late Magufuli left behind. My dear people of Ambazonia, in our land, we believed in a functional democracy, in openness, in a system where the people freely elected their leaders. Just take a look at the kinds of ancient of days that are prevailing in Africa, and their headquarters is in La République du Cameroon. Take a watch. So you are not confused. In this video, you are seeing the president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, and the president of South Sudan, Salva Kiir. Look at them. Salva Kiir, I know sometimes we have seen videos of him standing and even peeing on himself. Yet they are there. This is the kind of curse we want to eliminate from our land. Exactly the kind of curse we want to eliminate from our land. When you look at this, you may think that it's so far. Let me bring you a bit close. What the minute? What the minute? Hey! What the minute? What the minute? I don't want to laugh. You might think that maybe that is so much, right? Let's go again. Such. My dear people of Ambazonia, these are the kind of things that we want to continue tying us to. It's laughable, but it's very embarrassing. I say laughable, but extremely embarrassing. I just decided to, come up with some of this so we have some little fun just as we prepare to get into the real business of the day. And before I get into the real business of the day, let me say this again, and I've said it before, that I have tried sedulously not to laugh at the acts of man, not to lament them, not to detest them, but to understand them. This is by Baruch Spinoza. Again, I have tried sedulously not to laugh at the acts of man, nor to lament them, nor to detest them, but to understand them. My desire to seek an understanding of the actions of man emanates from the simple fact that sometimes you get so lost when you want to base your mind on pure logic and reason. Then you look at the people who are suffering normally, who are in pains, a people who literally have no future, a people whose future has been mortgaged. But you find them still fighting so hard, killing themselves, ready to die even, to continue hooking up themselves to the source of their pain. It's difficult to understand, very difficult to understand, but I'm doing my possible best to understand. Let's take a little break, then we get into the beef of our discussion, which is about the rebirth of the old demons. Francis Ambazonia Playbook and the Akere Factor. Get ready. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You are welcome back. And folks, just as we open this chapter, this very important chapter, I want to make this clear. I've told our people of Amazonia severally, those of you who are in the hinterlands of La République du Cameroon, start finding your way out of those hinterlands. I say, start finding your way out. Don't say someday that you will not want. Every day, there is one move taken by the people of La République du Cameroon that comforts the fears I'm raising. Some say I'm alarmist, I'm just trying to, cause panic in people. But like seriously, start finding your way out of the hinterlands of La République du Cameroon as they prepare for the ethnic cleansing, one like you've never seen before. The last time we had a document from a chief or from a divisional officer in a Nyoman-Kili division of La République du Cameroon, that was in the central region of La République du Cameroon, in which was asking all the chiefs to identify non-indigents in the area. Make sure they locate wherever they are and do a mapping and take note of them and the kind of activities that they are doing. And of course, it was translated by one of the chiefs actually writing to the people and giving specific days during which non-indigents were not allowed to go out, and giving strict restrictions to non-indigents in what they continue to call a country where they are, fostering national unity. Today is a turn of the South region. You look at the document that I have on my screen there. That document is issued by the divisional officer, that's the sous-prefet of Ambam. And Ambam is in the South region. This fellow writes to the chiefs. Il said, identification des personnes non autochtones vivant dans les villages de vos cantons. Did you hear that? Identification of non-indigenous of Ambam, non-indigenous of the South, living in their various villages and neighborhoods. That is the subject matter of a correspondence addressed by the divisional officer of Ambam to the chiefs in that administrative unit. Il says, Majesté, dans le cadre du renforcement des mesures sécuritaires dans l'ensemble de notre unité, pour un meilleur encadrement de nos populations et davantage pour promouvoir la cohabitation pacifique, le vivre ensemble et la cohésion sociale, j'ai l'honneur de vous demander chacun en ce qui le concerne de bien vouloir procéder au recensement de toutes les personnes non autochtones installées dans les unités de commandement traditionnelles de vos ressorts respectifs. Did you hear that? While in this document, this divisional officer is saying the intention of this identification of non-indigenous is to promote peaceful cohabitation and social cohesion. You will realize that setting out to carry out such a measure indicates hate, indicates that there is something that is underway, indicates that those people are not considered de facto citizens, that those people are not expected to have the same rights like other citizens in that locality. It's an indication that there will be a time that these people will either be asked to leave or will be targeted. He goes further. Un accent particulier devra être mis sur l'identification, la date d'arrivée, les activités menées. Did you hear that? That is special emphasis must be placed on identifying. You have to identify these people. Seek to know the date, the specific timeline that they arrived in the community. And study carefully to know the kind of activities they are involved in. Les superficies exploitées. Look at the kind of land. If they are doing agriculture, because of course in such a locality, a lot of them will be doing agriculture. And as you know, a lot of our people, Ambazonians, Southern Cameroonians, who find themselves in all of those localities are quasi-slaves on people's farms. Some of them go there and buy the land that they will be cultivating crops. They sell to them, but at the end of the day, they will take it back. But this is what they say. So it should be letting each and every one of us know exactly who they are talking about. Why they are targeting citizens of the west region of La République du Cameroon on the one hand. On the other hand, they are targeting Southern Cameroonians as well. Because for them, with the upcoming presidential elections, it's a do or die. And if they're able to target some of theirs, ask yourself what will happen to you. Because just by recognizing that you are Southern Cameroonians, your crimes are even quintupled. You can never be treated the same like the others. Les superficies exploitées ainsi que sur leur potentiel vendeur ou cédant. So they should even identify even those who sold, who might have sold land to any non-indigene who is in that locality. This is extremely telling. Because we talk sometimes, and I talk sometimes, people say, oh, Mba Akuro, he has come again. This, I didn't fabricate this. What I'm reading to you. Il dit, vous voudrez bien me rendre compte du résultat de vos actions après objet rempli et des éventuelles difficultés rencontrées. Veuillez croire, Majesté, en assurance de ma parfaite considération. What you also need to know is you heard the director of the civil cabinet of La République du Cameroun, Mvondo Ayolo, recently cry foul that non-indigenous, specifically the Zanglo-Bami, were coming in and buying all their land. Were coming in and doing what? And buying all their land. Oh my goodness. Their land. That is why you hear them talk about here. Identify them. Map out to know exactly where they are. Check to confirm what kind of activities they are involved in. Next, if they are exploiting land, find out who sold them the pieces of land. Oh, or who rented out or ceded pieces of land for them to work on. This is ethnic cleansing in the making, the kinds of which none of us have seen yet. This is why I keep calling on our people who are in the hinterlands of La République du Cameroon. Leave while there is still time. Leave those hinterlands while there is still time. Because La République du Cameroon's Armageddon, that is fast approaching, will be merciless. I mean, merciless. Don't allow yourself to be caught for yet another time. That will be double jeopardy in yet another crossfire. And this time, a very complicated one, because you may not find any safe haven in those regions. You may not be lucky to find safe haven. When Vondo Ayolo is complaining that people from other regions are coming and buying all their land and possessing all their land, they are appointing their sons and daughters to all the nooks and crannies of other people's regions. All over Amazonia, those who are occupying the most juicy positions are Bulu Ekambeti, right in the heart of our villages. In most of our urban centers, they control our land. I mean, they control our land. You want to know? Go to Fako. Ask Bernard Okalia Bilai how many land titles he has in Fako alone. Ask him how many land titles he has in Meme. Ask him how many land titles he has in Bamenda. Okalia Bilai Bernard. He did not buy any of those pieces of land. He took them. Ask all the successive SDOs, colonial SDOs in Fako, in Meme, in Mezam. Ask them. They have land titles all over the place. You want to know? We went to GRA in Bamenda at some point. Almost 70% of the land was attributed to citizens of La République du Cameroon. It took the arrival of a certain Sanji Robertson Tado to try to put order in that place. My dear people of Amazonia, these are things we must note and must be very wise about. Let me tell you this. Why these people are extremely protective of their regions? They are looting the southern Cameroons completely, as if they are everywhere. Go up station in Bamenda now. Every nook and cranny you enter, they speak French to you. That's for a fact. Yet look at what they are saying in their own regions. We have to learn. That said, I'd like us to listen to this video. It falls in line with what I said on this platform before about the current agitations of France in the southern Cameroons. And noted, this is just to refresh our memory, that the French are finding themselves currently in a very disadvantaged position on the international scene. That's why you see they are now everywhere, until they have even succeeded in tricking all Tinubu in Nigeria to accept for the French to create a military base in that country. When it comes to the southern Cameroons, the French have told themselves, and it's a vow, that they will do everything within their powers to ensure that we remain under subjugation. The only way they can be stopped will be our continuous resilience, will be our total and continuous determination to make sure they get out. Some look at our numbers and say, oh, how many have we compared to this? And then France is a superpower. I tell each and every one of us, Ambassador, every time, before you think in this direction, look at Eritrea compared to Ethiopia. What is the population of Eritrea compared to the population of Ethiopia? We are even too many. What is the population of East Timor compared to the population of Indonesia? East Timor is not 4 million, but Indonesia is getting towards 300 million. But East Timorians were able to fight their way to independence. So yes, we can. We are even over 8 million, heading towards 10. And these other entities did not even have international boundaries as we have. They didn't have a case as extremely telling as ours. All we need to do is keep it firm until we force La République du Cameroon to a negotiation table, to an internationally mediated settlement. At that point, international law will set in. That is what France and La République du Cameroon are doing everything to avoid. That is why they are pulling out all kinds of tactics from their own playbooks to try and make us think that our dream is unattainable. You see the image behind me. This image is meant to be a continuous reminder that even the United Nations knows that La République du Cameroon and Southern Cameroons are two separate entities. That is why the ceremony you find this picture behind me in 2010, the UN envoy, the special envoy, the special representative of the Secretary General of the United Nations, handed two maps to Mr. Paul Biya. One, the map of the Southern Cameroons, and the other one, the map of La République du Cameroon. That's for those who are doubting that we have international boundaries. Those are the maps carefully traced. My people of Ambazonia, when you see the French get into serious action and are behind, doing a lot of maneuvers behind, after the ambassador stopped in Bamenda twice and then went with some European Union ambassadors and said they were going to do everything to fix, and then suddenly went silent. You think he's silent. They are not silent. They are working behind the scenes. That is why you now hear a lot of talks coming. First they said, oh, they may have to create the post of vice president, and of course that is still very much involved because they are still thinking about that very seriously. I've talked with some authorities in Yaoundé. They will say that is still very much in the works, the creation or the revision of the constitution to create the post of vice president before the elections of the October 2025 presidential election. But at the same time, there is now a lot of talk about the possibility of a Southern Cameroonian becoming president in La République du Cameroon. A transitional president. Underline the word transition. Transitional president. But again, which Southern Cameroonian? Let's listen to Messanga Nyamde.
Que pensez-vous d'Akere Mouna? Transition.
Ah oui, c'est un homme plein de courage. Comme je le dis, c'est quelqu'un de préparé depuis son père. N'oubliez pas qu'au KNDP, Cameroun National, KNDP, Cameroun National People, il y a eu 3 anglophones qui ont contribué à la mise en œuvre sous le président Aïdjo de la conférence de Fumban. Ça aussi, il faut qu'on vous le dise. Il y a eu Djongo Foncha Il y a eu Tandemuna
Salomon.
et Salomon Tandemuna. Et puis il y a eu quelqu'un qu'on veut souvent marginaliser qui s'appelait Egbitabi. Pas Agbot.
Now, stop. You see, why is the focus here on Akere Muna? You notice that in this interview, you have the picture of Barrister Akere Muna. Of course, Barrister Akere Muna is a venerated man of law. That you can't take it from him. Barrister Akere Muna is a man with a very good CV. Barrister Akere Muna is an eloquent gentleman and also a man of integrity. But you hear what he says, that no, Barrister Akere Muna, yeah, he really has some fight from because Akere Muna is somebody who has been prepared. He has been long in the woods for a long time, prepared right from the time of his father and all of those things. And of course, he's getting into the historical background to tell you how well seated Barrister Akere Muna is, and you know what perhaps makes him to be quite visible and even presidential. But let's go ahead.
Que je connais pas.
Voilà. Egbitabi, il a été soit idiot longtemps, ministre d'État, ministre des Postes et Télécommunications. Bon, alors quand vous avez quelqu'un comme Akere, vous savez, contrairement à certains pontes des régimes, c'est-à-dire généralement, Tandemuna a bien formé ses enfants. Ça, il faut le dire. Vous avez parlé de Wali Mouna, qui était un très grand médecin. Il y avait...
Well, for the benefit of those who don't understand French, of course, he's talking about the upbringing of Barrister Akere Muna. Talks about how Solomon Tandemuna brought up his children very well, gave them sound education compared to other state dignitaries, other statesmen of his time, and all whatnot, paid attention to ensure that they had good education. So he's making a hit by renaming the children and all whatnot, those who have been wherever. But we are getting there. Continue.
Ben, avocat, il y avait aujourd'hui Akere, pour ne citer que cela. Je crois qu'il était préparé. Et Akere a connu des déboires lors de la dernière élection présidentielle. Il a connu des trahisons, à ma connaissance. Eh bien, là, je vous...
So you see, Akere, you know, had some challenges during the last presidential election. And to refresh our memory, the last presidential election, Akere Muna started by declaring his candidature, but quickly endorsed Maurice Kamto. You will notice that this time around, he's not endorsing Maurice Kamto. Professor Nyamding says he was victim of some manipulations, victim of some kind of betrayals, and all of those things. But this time, he is standing his ground. This time, he is absolutely on his own. Now, there is a caveat that you need to note here. While you're hearing a lot of noise about, oh, Maurice Kamto cannot qualify to be candidate because his political party boycotted the 2018 parliamentary and council elections, and because his party is not represented in parliament, I have this question. Which party does Barrister Akere Muna represent? Does that party have people in parliament? Why are they not also saying that he cannot be candidate? Why are they not also saying that his own candidature is null and void? Of course, the focus is on Maurice Kamto. But for Akere Muna, they appear really not to be so bothered and all of those things. Let's follow up.
Je voudrais saisir mon passage sur votre plateau pour vous dire, faites attention. Il a 4 qualités. Et ça, si on ne met pas en place toutes les batteries solides, au cas où Paul Biya se représenterait, ce serait une catastrophe parce que, Akere Muna, il est bien formé, il est avocat et il a été procureur du TPI, Tribunal pénal international du Rwanda. Donc il a une expérience de la gouvernance, même à travers Transparency et tout ce qu'il a mené comme action. 2, il y a aujourd'hui les anglophones qui estiment qu'un jour il faut qu'ils aient aussi accès au pouvoir. Donc là aussi, il est anglophone. 3, il est francophile. Et puis 4, il est préparé. C'est quand même quelqu'un qui a grandi avec les archives de la Constitution de l'État.
Chers téléspectateurs, suivez son regard. Mais je vais quand même vous poser la question. Tenons-nous.
Before he goes to ask the question, you heard the qualities that Nyamding brings up when he says, if care is not taken, Akere Muna could be president. If care is not taken, it's well upon, you can't ask, but he's a Cameroonian, why not? But he said, if care is not taken. Now you see, just that exclamation, if care is not taken, it tells you one very important thing. He doesn't belong. He's a Southern Cameroonian, for crying out loud. If care is not taken, he can become president. If care is not taken. Why if care is not taken? Why should there be this worry if he is president? You recall that another fellow came on the set and said, Alben Zonga, and said how in 1992, Ni John Fundi won the presidential election. And they came together and said, we cannot throw the country in water. On ne peut pas jeter le pays dans l'eau. Because letting a Southern Cameroonian become president of the entity is throwing the country in water. Today, we hear Mesanga Nyamding say, if care is not taken, Akere Muna could become president. And then he goes on to enumerate his qualities. One of the qualities he enumerated is actually what motivated this conversation today. He says, one, Akere is really prepared, you know, he's well educated, he has a good CV, he has very important international contacts, he has held a lot of international jobs that give him the experience required. Number two, he's a venerated lawyer. Of course, nobody argues that. Number three, he's an Anglophone. Listen, he's an Anglophone. Hey, good job. Okay. Underline that. But most importantly, he is a Francophile. Now, you might not have taken note of it. You may not understand what Francophile means. Francophile simply means somebody who loves and believes in France. Take your dictionary or go to Google and find out Francophile. My quick Google there, just hit on here because I want you and I to be on the same page. It says, someone who is Francophile, a person who is fond of or greatly admires France or the French. That's a Francophile. You heard Mesanga Nyamding very well. Francophile combines Franco, French, and then feel, one that loves. Definition of Francophile, now an admirer of France and everything French. An admirer of France and everything French. So, when Mesanga Nyamding gives these qualities that he's giving, there are two that he holds as joker. But he's smart enough not to expatiate on this. He will not, because it is sensitive. Because that is what they are discussing in high places. He's an Anglophone and he's a Francophile. France will only support someone that will be coming in to protect French interests. I wonder if you are getting me very well. I didn't say it. It's Mesanga Nyamding. You like, for emphasis, let's finish and take it over.
Là, le futur président du Cameroun, Akere Muna.
Si on ne fait pas attention, Akere...
Attention, comment c'est un Camerounais comme tous les autres, tenons-nous là un futur président du Cameroun?
Permettez-moi donc de répondre sincèrement. Vous savez, moi, en 42 ans, de manière radicale et absolue, j'ai dit aux gens, Paul Biya sera élu. Mais avec Akere Muna, j'ai peur. Akere, si le dispositif actuel, c'est-à-dire administratif, pas politique, tout ce qu'on voit là, on est doublon, on appelle X, on dit qu'il est nommé au comité central, on appelle un autre, on dit que ce n'est pas ça la force du pouvoir. La force du pouvoir, c'est les hommes de terrain, les hommes qui peuvent prendre des décisions fortes et les hommes de combat. Moi, je peux vous dire que si nous partons avec cette équipe gouvernementale aux élections, avec un Akere en face, moi j'ai bien peur qu'Akere soit le prochain président du Cameroun.
Très bien, c'est ça le titre de ce bout. J'ai peur qu'Akere soit le futur président du Cameroun.
Je dis bien si, hein.
Ouais,
on parle avec ces gens-là. Maintenant, bon, il y a...
So, I will come back to the point where he was enumerating the qualities. Because it's important for us to take note. Because Anglophone, yes, Francophile, do a marriage. The French have for quite some time been caught in between and betwixt. They have examined all options to see how to maintain the southern Cameroons under subjugation, while at the same time ensuring that French interests are continually protected, ensuring that we continue to remain under subjugation. The French don't envisage a scenario where they have to come like any other country and meet southern Cameroonians and negotiate businesses and talk business with southern Cameroonians, because they know that southern Cameroonians are people who are very alert, people who are well educated, and people who know their rights, and people who would like to ask questions, people who would like to do deals, fair deals. Don't forget that the federal experience with the Republic of Cameroon ended faster than it was scheduled when the French discovered oil in the southern Cameroons. Those who know the story of Honorable Wali Penja will not forget how Aijo treated him when he asked questions about where oil revenue was going to. That's exactly why the French needed to end the federal system, because they needed to have unfettered access to the resources on our land without having to answer any questions from any one of us, taking just like they take from all French territories in Africa. And so therefore, the Munas have generally been the favorite of the French. They did all they could, they fought whatever they could to get Barrister Ben Muna to take over the SDF. You know the scuffle, you know the fighting that went on, especially in 2004, that finally led to the holding of 2 SDF conventions. The one in Yaoundé, which led to fighting and the death of one Diboulé. When they failed, 2011, the French came back to the charge with Barrister Bernard Muna, and they promised to throw their weight behind him. I have discussed this here before, to give him a lot of money to push him. But at the end of the day, it didn't work, I guess, because Paul Biya still stood, they saw that Paul Biya still stood a fair ground, still stood a fair chance of holding his own for another 7 years. That's why they played around and deceived Barrister Ben Muna and ended up not giving him money, only offering him a wonderful haircut in Paris and some good pedicure, manicure, and everything that made him look young, boyish. That is all he got from them. Today, Barrister Ben Muna is gone. The French have their back to the wall right now. They are no longer assured of the support of the United States of America that they suspect is pro-independence for Southern Cameroons. The French, this are talks in Yaoundé circles, that they suspect so strongly that the United States of America has a serious leaning towards supporting self-determination for Ambazonia, for Southern Cameroons. And now, the French appear not to be in the very good books of the United States of America at this point. The French, therefore, have told themselves they have to remove every card they have in their closets to make sure that they overcome the present predicament in which they find themselves with an international system that is seemingly being redefined. That is why you can hear people like Nyapting tell you today, not that Akere Muna is featherweight, but that Akere Muna is actually the real opponent that needs to be taken seriously. I guess you are hearing or understanding what I'm talking about. They are not talking about O.C. Joshua, who leads the SDF. They are not even bothered about Maurice Kamto, who has the populist MLC party. They are not talking about Cabral Libi, although there are some challenges, but he even has representation in the National Assembly. What is the level of implantation of the party that is investing Barrister Akere Muna? What is the name of the party? Where do they have branches? What are their local cells? What is their implantation on the national territory? That should make him a serious contender. These are questions you need to ask yourself. I've talked here about some conferences that be held to say, now see, they initially said it was Arusha, Tanzania. Today they say, no, it's South Africa, where you have federalists, unionists, and pro-independentists going to sit in one room to come out with one resolution. And in the ranks of those in Yaoundé who are fighting tooth and nail, who are so much behind this conference, they are saying that it is an opportunity for us to come together, go with one voice, so we can go through the elections and be able to fight our fight through the elections. Which elections in the Republic of Cameroon have ever been free, fair, and transparent? We have some 35 court jesters of the Southern Cameroons in the Parliament of the Republic du Cameroon, who kept showing that they needed to go to that parliament to fight internally. For 8 years and counting, they have never succeeded in having the ongoing bloody conflict, the ongoing genocidal war of Mr. Paul Biya discussed in that parliament. Last I heard about it was O.C. Joshua saying, begging that maybe it is time now to talk about that conflict, that bloody conflict in the Parliament of the Republic du Cameroon. At the same time, you have some 20 jokers calling themselves senators from the Southern Cameroons who have not also succeeded in pushing through with that. My dear people of Amazonia, we have been fooled before. We cannot be fooled again. I have nothing absolutely against Barrister Akere Muna. On the contrary, I venerate him. He's a man of candor. But I expected Barrister Akere Muna to use his international clout to push for an internationally mediated settlement to the ongoing bloody conflict, where his people are being killed on a daily basis, slaughtered in good numbers. Don't be naive. Barrister Akere Muna knows that we are two peoples and clearly divisible. If you doubt, recall, Barrister Akere Muna was the first to hatch an article in 2017, January 2017, when Paul Biya talked about a certain one and indivisible. And Barrister Akere Muna wrote this article. I still have a copy of it until now. The title of it was, Cameroon is one and indivisible. Column. Which Cameroon? Which Cameroon? And he went inside that article to analyze clearly, to draw the parallels, and the conclusion that he came to was, we are two and absolutely divisible. Now, when you hear Mesanga Nyamde describe Barrister Akere as Francophile, as being one of the qualities he has that make him a serious contender, you understand where this is coming from. In other words, Mesanga Nyamding is telling you that the French have a soft spot for Akere because, one, he's an Anglophone. Let me use what he said, and Francophile, which means they can use him like you use one stone to bring down two birds. That is, one, as an Anglophone, oh, he becoming president, according to them, will solve the Anglophone problem, will end the current crusade for total self-determination. And then number two, he is Francophile. He will protect French interests. It will not become what they say in French themselves. Plus ça change, plus ça reste la même chose. Loosely translated, the more it changes, the more it remains the same. The more it changes, the more it is more of the same. This is what it is. Plus ça change, plus ça reste la même chose. My dear people of Amazonia, we should not be fooled. I said here before that so many people called me to ask questions about the conference they're hearing about in Arusha, in Tanzania, which has now been moved to South Africa, and I understand will be held on the 17th of April. That is in 3 days. I like to say this, and very clearly, we must stay awake. We must stay on the alert. Recall what this retired police superintendent of La République du Cameroun, Albert Léopold Lebene, said to the people of the southern Cameroon. You fool me once, I'm not a fool. But you fool me twice, I'm a fool. We are likely going to be fooled by the third time. That will be the third time if we let this thing happen again. Take a look at what we have been through in 8 years. Take a look at what we have lost. The souls gone. I don't want to talk about property because that one you cannot build. But look at the number of people who have died. Look at the number of people who are displaced. Look at the number of people who are maimed. The number of people who are blind today. The number of people who are in the dungeons of La République du Cameroun. All over the place. Being tortured daily. And you come and sit and tell me that it will be business as usual. That we settle for plus ça change, plus ça reste la même chose. We have to stay awake. We really have to stay awake. Because like I said, if you look at the fundamentals, every other person from the surface, you say, Akere Muna's candidature is a joke. Because which political party does he represent? Not any of the popular parties that you know. Normally his candidature, going by the rhetoric in La République du Cameroun, should not even be validated. Because his political party is not represented in parliament. Like they are talking for Camto. And then, the CBDM should be afraid of Akere Muna. When the CBDM has a LECA, the CBDM has a constitutional council. The CPDM has all the divisional officers in all those administrative units. The CPDM has all the chiefs. I mean, all the chiefs, the traditional rulers. They should be afraid of Akere Muna? No. Of all those qualities he mentioned, retain two, Anglophone and Francophile. That is the crux of what that discourse was all about. And that is what should concern you and me. That is what should be a wake-up call for you and for me. That is what should remind you and I that having been fooled for years with the post of Prime Minister, that's empty until, I mean, it got so ridiculous that even citizens of the Republic of Cameroon themselves are bashing that position, and Dr. John Gute, who is occupying it now on a daily basis, he's become a punching drum for every other activist saying, "Quel Premier ministre représente quoi?" Emptiness of that position. When Southern Cameroonians were speakers of the assembly, it was also an empty position with nothing. But since Kavai Yege Jibril, citizen of La Republic Cameroon, became speaker of the assembly, oh, you can hear of tons of things that he's doing. He has his list of people who go to Enam. He has a list of people who go to Colonial. He has a list of people, he puts them at will. He does this, he does that. It didn't happen to Southern Cameroonians. After they even dribbled the late Fonka Shang and pushed him to suicide. When a Southern Cameroonian was Speaker of the Assembly, the constitutional successor of the President of the Republic became the Prime Minister. He was normally the Speaker of the National Assembly. When Ahijo was nearly, when he had to drop, the Constitution was revised. And the Prime Minister, who was Paul Biya, was made the constitutional successor of the President of the Republic. When they reverted the post of Prime Minister, the Southern Cameroonians, the Speaker of the Assembly, once more became the constitutional successor until the Senate was created, where the President of the Senate is now the constitutional successor, who will run affairs for up to 120 days for organizing elections. If you don't take time to sit down to understand these things, that you have never ever been considered a de facto citizen, and that if they place you anywhere, there must be guardrails to make sure that you do only the things they want you to do, then something is wrong with you and wrong too with me. We hear they talk about the post of vice president. It's because the French are considering another option in case at the end of the day turns out that Paul Biya insists he doesn't want to be an ex-president, he wants to die as president. Then there should be a post of vice president, and the vice president will come to complete the existing mandate. It will be a transitional, the existing mandate of the president. And in that case, they could cause Paul Biya, for the sake of unity, to co-opt Akere Muna to become his vice presidential running mate. Because Southern Cameroonians, eternal assistance. These are all options that are on the table. My dear people of Amazonia, we said in 2017 that we are done having anything to do with La République du Cameroun. On the 1st of October 2017, Sisiku Ayuk Tabe Julius, at that time, the chairman of the governing council of the people of the Southern Cameroons, declared the independence, proclaimed the independence of the Southern Cameroons. What is left for us to do from that moment is to defend it, not to cut up, not to go back to our vomit. This is why I urge each and every one of us to wake up from the slumber, because we are about to be dribbled again. Wake up from your slumber. I know that this is a late night show. I know that I'm coming to you. I came to you quite in the middle of the night for those of you who are in the southern Cameroons, but you wake up to this. We must get up from slumber. We must get up from slumber. We must get up from slumber. Let's end with this.
I came with great men. I came with champions. I came with men who are saviors, protectors of their clan. I came with great and real men. What I see here are weaklings, banana stems. What is it? You're tired? You wish to go home? Go home to your wives and children who are eagerly waiting to hear the good news that we won this war. And tell them, like weaklings, we lost the war. No! No. Because I am the leader of this war, I say this war is not over until we win. I would rather die in battle than die on my knees begging another man for my inheritance. We fight for our people. We fight for our rights. We fight for freedom. And I say we battle. I say we battle till we die. I say we battle till we win. I say this war is not over until we win. Warriors, on your feet. Pick up your weapon.
Everyone on your feet until we win. That is the mantra, and that is the way to go. My dear people of Ambazonia, no, we can't go back to our vomit. No, we can't do that. We have to fight, and fight all the way to the logical end. To God be the glory.